I know you could be asking yourself, what do you mean road to dining hall was terrifying? It's because it was. It was terrifying. Exactly the way I said it. Road to dining hall. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. For sure. Like when you pass through every day going to the dining hall, that experience was horrible. Not every day, but most of the times, it was horrible. Because check this out. It was a scenario where the prey is slowly passing through the predator's lens. Picture it in that way. The prey is slowly passing through the predator's lens. Obviously, you are bound to be attacked and devoured mercilessly. Mercilessly. Now you get the picture. I'm sure you get the picture. And on that note, my name is Shalom Thompson. Umkhwenyana wenye muhle njalo. Qili wezumakoti. So now, the road to the dining hall was hell because we passed through what we called the fourth year studies. We passed through to what we call the fourth year studies. Okay. So now let me explain fourth year studies. Let me explain this so that we all on the same level or on the same field, or we all understand what I'm talking about. So I need to lay the ground and explain what fourth year studies are. It's very important for me to explain that. Okay? In simple terms, these were study rooms for fourth years, mainly from two houses. It's study rooms for fourth years. People were doing fourth year in high school for two houses. That area where they put the study rooms, where we passed through, going to the dining hall, it housed fourth years from two distinctive houses. Okay? Namely, Milner House, which was my house, and Grey House, which was more closer to those studies. So the fourth years kept their tuck. You know what tuck is, right? The fourth years kept their tuck, their clothes, and study material in those rooms. You get it? So their tuck, their clothes, and study material in those rooms. In most cases, you would have your own room to study. Others did share, though maybe, others did share, maybe two in a room, maximum. You couldn't sleep there though. Yeah, you couldn't sleep there. You just keep your stuff there. You couldn't sleep there. So obviously, most of the time, this is where the fourth years chilled. I mean, they would only go to main house to sleep and for Rocco. Remember Rocco? Yeah. So they only go to the main house to sleep and only for Rocco. Those were the two important things whereby the fourth years were to be found at the main house. But any other time of the day after school, they would chill by their studies, right? Because everything else they needed was in those studies. So here's the thing. So as second years coming from Milner House, that is me in my buddies from Milner House, we had to pass through those fourth year studies going to the dining hall. Right? The dining hall was at Hammond Hall. Today I'm giving you details. I am giving you details today. So we'd come from Milner House, we had to pass through the fourth year studies going to the dining hall, which was at Hammond Hall. Now I have to tell you again, what is Hammond Hall? Those who went to the school would know. But let me just explain to those who are new to this thing. Hammond Hall was where all the new boys stayed. New boys, the first years, the juniors, the first years in high school, fresh from primary school, they stayed at Hammond Hall, right? So there was a dining hall there, and it was for the new boys and the second years. Third years going up until to the 60s, the seniors, they had their own dining hall called the main dining hall. We called it the main DH. So I'm talking breakfast, lunch, supper every day. Every day we would pass through the fourth year studies. There was no other alternative route. You would pass the fourth year studies. Right? It wasn't a smooth journey at all. And this is the other thing. Here's the other thing I need to tell you. You had to run. You had to run that whole distance. You had to run that whole distance which the studies covered. Right? Because it was a fourth year privilege and above to walk there. So if the fourth year studies covered 100 meters, which was also part of your journey, you have to walk, you have to run those 100 meters there. Because remember, it was a fourth year privilege and above to walk there. Yeah, remember the privileges episode I did last time. Yeah. Privileges. It was very important to know your privileges so that you don't break privileges, or else you'd find yourself in trouble. So for us, you had to run, you couldn't walk because it wasn't our privilege. If we were found walking, which I don't think it ever happened, you'd be in trouble. And then again, you had to greet each and every fourth year you meet as a way of showing respect to your seniors. That is how the seniority system worked. Greet each and every fourth year because you're passing through the fourth years as a way of showing respect to your seniors. Anything was possible during these trips of, up and down, to and fro the dining hall. For example, e.g., for example, a fourth year could call you, look for some fault on you, or maybe the fourth year just dislikes you. She doesn't like you, right? Then you could be sent back to man house, whilst you're supposed to be hurrying to the dining hall to have your meal. Like imagine you're running there and this particular fourth year doesn't like you, or he's in a bad mood, or whatever the case is. He calls you and he just finds something faulty on you, like your laces are not tied up, or your shirt is not ironed, or whatever the case might be. He's like, go back to, here's your punishment, go back to main house. And what you're supposed to be hurrying to the dining hall to have your meal. Imagine that scenario. Let me think of another example. One could make you do push-ups or press-ups, whatever you call it, depending on where you are, if they felt like you deserved it. I'm not talking about 2 push-ups or 3 push-ups. I'm talking about 25 to 30 press-ups. Imagine the pain. If there was pain, but we did feel the pain. The time wasted was the main deal breaker in that. The time wasted, me doing push-ups. Alright? So those are just some of the examples that I'm giving you of what you could, find yourself in by just passing through the fourth year studies, going to the dining hall. As for the new boys, I won't speak for those. It was even worse. Okay. For me, there was this one particular guy. And this one we always met on our way back. It was never on our way to the dining hall. We always met this guy on our way back. Right? On our way back from the dining hall, going back to the house, preparing for the afternoon or whatever studies. Okay? Or maybe after breakfast. He had a weird Like he had a weird, funny punishment that he liked, and he executed it jokingly. Yet we felt the pain. To him, it was a joke, but we did feel the pain. I mean, you would find him sitting outside, mainly after lunch there. And once you see him from a distance, chilling outside, you would pray and wish hard he doesn't call you close. That would be your prayer in that moment. And this guy had a tendency of this guy had a tendency of hitting our toes with a fork. Wait, wait. Don't scream out loud yet. Don't roll your eyes. Don't rewind. I'll say this slowly so that you get it. This guy had a tendency of hitting our toes with a fork. Your toes inside your shoes, and you be wearing shoes. He takes a fork. He hits your toes. You would feel the pain. You would feel the pain. He enjoyed it. We didn't like it. That one I remember vividly. Vividly. I remember even the pain, I can still feel it. Have you ever been I've had experience where you group your fingertips, like your 5 fingers, you group them up, and then your fingertips are exposed like that as a collective, and then a teacher takes the back of a duster and then he hits you on those fingertips during winter season. If you know that pain, then you would know what I'm talking about. You would know what I'm talking about. That's the pain that we felt on our toes. So many stuff happened there. So many stuff happened there. But today, we end it here. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's grow the channel today. Ciao.